Hello, welcome to our channel. For those of you who are new around here, we're a small team of two, and over the past 2 weeks we have been working on our first commercial game called Merchant's Voyage. Our goal is to blend elements from some of our favourite games like Raft with a gameplay loop of being a merchant to add our own unique twist. We plan on adding a lot of features and are very open to suggestions, so if you want to provide some wacky ideas then feel free to add them in the comments below, and if we like them enough we'll add them to the game. But without further ado, let's get into what we've accomplished in the past 2 weeks. The first thing on the list was improving this very boring and stiff character controller. This involved updating the animations and doing some programming work in the background to improve the overall feel by adding things like sway. And with those adjustments made, we had something like this. Yeah, it's safe to say if I didn't have motion sickness before, I certainly do now. But anyways, this obviously wasn't good enough, so with some slight more adjustments, we ended up with something like this. But yeah, overall it's much better. Some animations got adjusted and I toyed around with a bunch of the values for the sway and things like that, so I feel like it's a lot more tolerable. With that in mind, if you have any suggestions that you think we could improve upon this, do let us know in the comments below. As you can already hear as well, this week we started adding a couple of sounds in just to bring the environment to life more, but we'll be gradually adding a lot more sounds throughout the coming few weeks. Short intermission, we also have a whale in the game, so if you want to name it or have some suggestions as to what it should do, then yeah, let us know. A game wouldn't be a game without its bugs, right? This week we had some interesting bugs to fix from last week, including playing football with a grill. We also started implementing rocks and the rock resources, which also encountered bugs, which involved rocks turning into trees and rocks turning into axes. Yeah. What a beautiful sunrise, eh? But yeah, you can now break the rocks and they drop rocks now. Or stone, should I say. The visuals are placeholder as well, bearing in mind. But yeah, while recording this segment, I also noticed a new bug. When you throw the stone down, and you pick it back up, and then throw it again, and then pick it back up, it just continuously shrinks, which is very interesting. So now we have a tiny stone. Look at that. We also made adjustments to the tooltips that appear when you hover over something, including adding the number of items that is on the floor in that stack. It now feels much more readable and the text is formatted much better. This includes the same for interacting with objects like crafting tables and things like that. Yeah, this next feature we're definitely going to regret, but we overall improved the ship controls. So now you can interact with the ship engine. It will slowly start to move and gradually accelerate. And we also added ship steering, which is going to be very difficult to balance, but we thought it was needed to increase player freedom. So now you can steer your ship left and right and go anywhere you want, really. However, there is very clear issues, as you can see, but if you want to release your inner Jack Sparrow, be my guest. Our goal is to also have like upgradable engines and things of that nature that will allow you to move faster. And these upgrades can be bought in towns and things like that, where you can use your coins or currency to buy them. Another feature we decided to implement, which is very early stages currently, is adventurers or customers coming to your ship to buy things. While I know being a merchant involves going from point A to point B to kind of sell your merchandise, we thought while the player is traveling through the sky, they'll probably get quite bored if they don't have enough things to do. So customers coming towards you also keeps that gameplay loop of being a merchant ongoing throughout the whole game. However, this will be much less profitable than actually going from point A to point B and selling large goods. Next up, players will actually have a built-in storage compartment on their ship, which will also increase the amount of slots it has in it once you upgrade the ship. Now you'll be able to place down your own chests and things of that nature, but from the get-go you'll have your own storage compartment just so you can store things early on. We've also implemented the functionality to drag and drop things between your storage to your inventory and to your hotbar and have everything be cohesive. Alongside this, we also save what is in your storage alongside your inventory and hotbar, but now you can drag and drop everything in your storage. It will save when you quit the game, reload up, and you can drag and drop it back in your inventory. You now also have the option to hold a key to pick up your place down structures so you can move them around. It will simply just move it back into your inventory. You can re-equip it in your hotbar and place it back down again. Now, I've mainly mentioned the more so technical aspects of the game that have been worked on. We've also worked on a lot of custom assets this week, and for those curious, I use Blender and Substance Painter as a workflow. But yeah, created some varieties of wooden planks and some wooden pillars, alongside some crates, barrels and things like that I can just copy and paste everywhere. I also, as you've already seen, have created a makeshift axe and pickaxe, which will be the initial tools you kind of start with. But yeah, after I created some of these assets, I started working on the very first island, which you will kind of get taught how to play the game. And towards the end of this, you'll kind of earn your first ship. I'm not going to give away any narrative spoilers, but we do intend to have some form of narrative. But yeah, this starter island, I built a bit of a workshop and a kind of small makeshift shipyard. And then there'll be a version of the player ship, but just a lot more under construction, so you can kind of progressively see you working towards building the ship or helping a specific NPC build that ship. So yeah, this is pretty much the outcome so far of the very first island. It pretty much showcases all these assets I made over the past week, and as mentioned before, the under construction ship, the placeholder NPC there in which you'll kind of get quests from, to collect items and do all these different things to eventually build the ship. And once you build the ship and set sail, you will never be able to come back to this island again. But yeah, the goal of this island is to essentially teach the player how to do the bare basics of placing structures down, chopping trees down, jumping, moving around, accepting quests, and doing all these types of things. I intend on adding a lot more assets, like smaller assets, to fill in gaps. There's a lot of wood currently, but I intend to add like metal bits, cloth, and things like that, just to differentiate colors and not have it look so brown. But overall, if you guys have any constructive criticism towards the visual art style of the game, then feel free to give some constructive criticism in the comments below. If you've reached this far into the video, I really appreciate it, and if you can hit the subscribe button, I'd appreciate it even more. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in next week's video.